Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We would like to say thank you to the IIUM TAARUF Week Committee for inviting Murabbi Taskforce to give our input on the module development for TAARUF Week. Inshallah, this video will be covering 3 segments. The first segment is on the outcome of introduction and the outcome of what we would envision our students to be, and this will be covered by me, Nurul Fazlin Hasbullah. And the second part will be covered by Professor IR Dr. Zuraida Ahmad. She'll be talking on the internalization of being a Khalifah. And the third part, the third segment, will be covered by Professor Dr. Akmal Khuzairi Abdul Rahman. He is currently the chairman of Murabbi Taskforce and also the director of Centris. So he will be covering on the UKHUWWAH, internalization, and also concluding the talk. We understand that Associate Professor Dr. Lihana from KCE has already given a talk on the SURAH, which includes the IIUM vision and mission and Islam as a way of life. Murabbi Taskforce would like to emphasize on the aspects that we think are needed or should be strengthened in our students, especially in the current situation. When we talk overall, when we given this task, we were asking ourselves, by the end of their academic year in IIUM or when they graduated, what are the kind of person that we would like them to be? And the answer is we would like them to become a better Muslim and also to becoming an insan soleh. So that's our aim. If we can make out of them somebody who become better as a Muslim and also having the characteristics of insan soleh, then we have achieved our goal in educating and nurturing our students. One of the things that the Murabbi thinks that we should bring back or highlight is the question of the purpose of life. Why are they here? Why they are living in this world? Why Allah has created them? Why has them been chosen to come to IIUM, Islamic University, Garden of Knowledge and Virtue? I had conversation with my students regarding this. The average, not very clear why. What is the mission? What is his mission in life? What does he motivated to do? In line with what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala said in the Quran, A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, wa ma khalaqtul jinna wal insa illa liya'budun, which means that, and I created the jinn and humankind only that they worship me. Our students know about this, but the internalization of this, what does it mean when our whole purpose of life is to serve Allah only? And what does it mean to being our purpose of life is being an ibad, being a slave of Allah? So perhaps we can have a discussion on this, on practical reason. They can think of how are they fulfilling their purpose of life so they can be motivated throughout their studies, inshallah, in IIUM. In fulfilling this purpose of life as being a Muslim, a servant and slave of Allah, there are aspects in life that we should consider to improve ourselves in, and as a university we should try to assist the student in this, especially in the IIM TAARUF Week, hoping that we can instill and spark enthusiasm in these aspects, and they will keep on improving and finding knowledge, ilm, throughout their studies in IIUM. Number one is the concept, the aspect of Aqidah. How truly they understand that as what does it mean to believe in Islam. And just to share with you, Dr. Sophia and her colleague has done various surveys among our students in Gombak campus on this, on the Aqidah and Ibadah. So our students are very good in answering the textbook question, which is what is the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 pillars of Iman. However, when we ask them about to show the manifestation of the Aqidah, many are still lacking. Alhamdulillah, fortunately, our students are very honest in answering, and 50% or more of our students are praying 5 times a day, which is great. However, there are still significant numbers or significant percentage of our students who are not praying enough 5 times a day. and they praying. Some of them are praying according to their convenience, and majority from them missing the Fajr prayer. So hopefully in this we can instill a bit on this so that they will be aware and then keep on improving themselves in terms of the aqidah ibadah. Number 3 is on the akhlaq. Perhaps in this module we can have a discussion on what is the akhlaq that they should have in terms of stopping themselves from doing haram things that Allah doesn't allow, and also to lower their gaze, not only during the real time or real life, or in the online, to watch videos with illegal haram videos, and also to some of it, like to take care of our tongue when we speak. Do we swear? Many of us out there, it's normal to swear, but is it right to swear as a Muslim? And also whatever you type in digital, in the online, in internet, how as a Muslim we should conduct ourselves in terms of the akhlaq and many others. And finally, the aspect that we want, if possible, we can include is for them to believe that they are the future of Islam. They are the future of the Ummah. So if we can instill them during the starting of their study, and they can think of what is their role and what they can contribute in order to gather this responsibility of having being the future of Islam. So if we can instill this in, that would be great. And these 5 aspects is we able by the end of their graduation, they have this will achieve our aim, inshallah, to nurture insan soleh that we always wish for. So the next part I will pass to Professor Dr. Zuraida on the being a Khalifah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh for all. I have been asked by one of the members of Murabbi Taskforce to share the experience of internalizations of the concept of Khalifah. Hopefully, it is not overlapping with other talks. Before we start, it is good to know what type of students we are dealing with. Currently, we are dealing with the students born after 1995 to 2012. That is considered as Generation Z. Even though it is debatable, we are dealing with the youth that are technology-savvy generations that influence in terms of habitually interconnected, lesser in terms of empathy and social skills, as well as lack of focus. They are easily influenced by popular person or celebrity and always seeking for instant information and demand for fast action. Since they are the type of robust and demand for an instant, let us make the concept for the Khalifah simple for them to understand, which covering that I want to make myself good, I want to make people around me good, I want to make the world that I'm living in good. For the concept of I want to make myself good, let us make them realize and do some reflection through group discussion and listen to as many as possible on the current issues facing by the Muslim Ummah. For example, like Islamic cultural impoverishment or diminishment. Example, educational and technological backwardness. So they can have more and discuss together with their friends. So the reason of doing this is to create their empathy and make students having global perspective on current scenarios of the Muslim state. They also need to be reminded on the hope of the Ummah on them. That is being Khalifah of Allah with all attributes of Fatunah, Amanah, Siddiq, Tabligh, and others to lead and strengthen the Ummah in the next generations. We can have another reflections from the students on what are the values that they are owning or having now, where they get all this value. Is it from family, friends, movies that they are fond of like K-pop, school, society, or religion? This part is crucial to highlight how easily our youth being influenced by the bi'ah or environment around them. So reflect on the story of sleeping ASHABUL in the cave as recorded in Quran is also proposed to be included in the sessions. The story is mentioned interestingly in Surah Al-Kahfi, and its lesson should be learned by Muslims, especially the younger generations. We all know about the story. Briefly, ASHABUL is a story about 7 youngers who believe to worship Allah, the one God, based on Nabi Isa's teaching, and they are facing the challenge to show or promote their faith and practice, as at that time they live in an extreme society and tyrant government, which disallowed the freedom of conscience. Fearing the threat might force them to return to the traditional belief, these teenagers choose to go out from the city. After finding a small cave, they conceal and sleep inside. Miraculously, they had been sleeping for 30 years before woke up. At that time, the situation was already different, as most of the people believe in one God. After they went out, finally the truth was revealed. According to the story, Allah describes the characters of ASHABUL clearly. Therefore, it must be the lesson to the young generation to make sure that they are striving in line to Islamic teaching. For example, like we as a Muslim, we have to have true faith. This is mentioned in Surah Al-Kahfi, verse 13 and 14. Based on these verses, the 7 youth has been told as the beloved people. Because of their faith, Allah has increased them in guidance. As the result, the faith and guidance have firmed their heart to consistent in religion. In the same note, it is also good to ask the student to revisit on the hadith number 19 Imam Nawawi, titled Care of Allah. Narrated by Abi al-Abbas, Abdullah ibn Abbas. It is a Hasan Sahih hadith. In this hadith, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught the young boy Ibn Abbas many important things as a Muslim. For example, being victory, patient, and etc. That is good to discuss, to let our youngster to discuss on this. Another character of ASHABUL is they have knowledge and intellect. Mentioned in Surah Kahfi verse 15. Even they were young, but it did not mean they were wrong. Before they decided to isolate themselves in cave, they had criticized society's practice at that moment, as it is totally against human intellect. And they also, being a youngster, being very cautious. Even they believe, this is mentioned in the same surah, verse 19. Even they believe their way was true, but it did not mean that they had to be hasty. In contrast, they had planned their way with calculating their risk, went out from the city, and after waking up, they were still alert to the situations. And they are withdrawing themselves from bad mainstream culture. And the young also know that youth are the pillars of strength of the ummah, not the weakness. And in the same surah also, we can highlight that these people, the ASHABUL Kahfi, they are people of vision. They are people with vision. I'm personally offended by Muslim youth who are in their senior year of college, don't know what they want to do with their life. Sometimes they don't have any sense of direction, not for their deen, not for their dunya. This is unacceptable. So let us facilitate them to have a very clear sense of direction and a very clear sense of purpose. They have to start working on finding it now, what they are good at, and how they are going to use it in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let us share on the second concept or step in the simple Khalifah method, which is make people around us good, or make people around me good for them. So we need to highlight that Islam was never meant to be an individualistic faith. In fact, Islam is encouraging the ummah to be in jama'ah, to be together, including the youth. And the first thing to do is facilitate the youth to foster the ukhuwah among them. To start with can be a simple one, smile and spread salam. Let's ask them to be together, to practice a sincere smile to people around them and share the smile with others. And culture of giving salam, even though through the online sessions, how many of the students, how many of them give salam to the lecturer? Can make a rules that attendance is taken based on the salam given, either through chat or verbally at the beginning of the session. We can also ask the student to whom they spread the salam to. Is it just to whom they know only? How about other Muslim nearby? In terms of being friends for self-reflecting, it is good to ask them to do self-evaluation of what type of friends that they have. Do they know if their friends are okay or not? Are they close with their friends who came from other countries other than Malaysia? that are considered muhajirin? Do they know what are their friends facing in their countries? Have they ever met dua for their friends? Have they ever assist their friends that are struggling with something, especially those who are having difficulties with the studies and those who are having problems with the financial, and some those who are having problems with controlling the anxiety due to this current pandemic, COVID-19. Have they ever had the chances to advise their friends who are using bad words, who are not performing salat? Are they sincere enough to be a friend of their friends? Let them also discuss the concept of amal ma'ruf nahi munkar. We can also pull the intentions of the youth to the Surah Al-Imran verse 110. You are not the best people brought forth, the guidance and reward of mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong and believe in Allah. So on the third concept, make my physical world good. There are many issues being highlighted in Sejahtera, I guess, but good also to highlight Surah Al-Rum verse 41 and Surah Al-A'raf verse 56. There are many other verses that they can find out, which mention that mischief, corruption has appeared in the land, in this earth, because of the actions of human beings. So students can reflect on the current issues in the aspect of pollution, for example, depletion of natural resources, for example. Not just that, the issues of cloning can also be discussed. It's also good for the student not just discuss on the issues, but discuss on how to solve the issues using all the backgrounds knowledge that they are having. Be it they are engineers, doctor, counselor, teachers, study in Islamic knowledge, and so on and so forth. So in conclusion, there are the needs for us to highlight that the Muslim youth, our students, should realize that their period should not to be wasted for entertainment or unbeneficial activities. In contrast, their time is the golden age to be a good servant to Allah and a honorable fighter to society, protecting them and fighting for the sake of religion with a strong motivation and in-depth knowledge. I think that's basically all. So in these sessions, we are concentrating more to inspire them based on a practical and cognitive element, support a little bit with reflective thinking skill. That is the basic and general sharing from me. Believe that the committee are wiser and can blend it wisdomly to make a good module for the benefit of the student, inshallah. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Dearest colleagues, I'm Akmal Huzairi from Centris. We were requested to share our thoughts on some of the input that should be considered by those who are drafting the module for TAARUF, our TAARUF program, of which I was given the topic about UKHUWWAH, the brotherhood. Since we are still lacking in this aspect of observing our students mixing with one another, getting to know one another, although that they are living and staying at campus, but we can see that this is not happening as we wanted it to be. Locals, they keep to themselves, internationals as well. So we need to change this practice. We need to change this habit among our students. And I'm suggesting that we talk about these 3 to 4 points. Number one, brothers and sisters, is about telling our own students, especially the locals, the fact that if they are reaching out to the international, they are helping those international students to understand more about our country, our culture, and our language. We can picture ourselves when we were, many of us, I would assume, we were studying abroad, and we are living in this foreign land. And if it is not for some of the locals who reach out for us, who wanted to know us better, who want to mix with us, we would not have mixed or got to know our own friends without this approach initiated by them. So with the same token, I think we should encourage our students as well that if they are reaching out to their foreign friends, it means also that they're helping them out to make them understand about our own culture. And this would also prevent themselves, I mean, those international students from having negative thoughts about our country, our culture, because what happened is that when they are not mixing with the locals, they would construct their own perception about the culture and the country itself, and I wouldn't say that this is healthy in the long run. Okay, so make our students understand the fact that if they are reaching out our foreign friends, we are actually doing them a favor. We are actually helping them out. Okay, so in order for them to become more receptive of the local cultures, the local norms, okay, and they might have that sort of understanding. Okay, about this local used to be a foreign, something which is alien to them when they came to the country. So number one is try to tell our students the fact that they are reaching out, meaning they are helping those students. Number two, we must tell our students the fact that if they are mixing with one another, knowing foreign cultures, language, and what have you, it is a matter of fact an effort to discover the greatness of God. And we have this verse in Surah Al-HUJURAT, verse 13. Okay? Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakari wa unsa, that we have created you from a single man and woman. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا, then we have created you into tribes and nations so that you will know one another, right? So this is actually something that, which is in line with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to do, that is to discover His greatness by discovering the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created nations and tribes with different colors, tongues, languages. So this is actually something which would bring us to acknowledge the greatness of God. So there is some sort of servitude, ibadah dimension to it by knowing one another, because you want to know how greatness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. So not only from your own perspective, but also from other people's perspective, from their language, from their opinions, cultures, you see. So number two is about discovering. Number one is about helping. I mean, this is the way that we should be telling our students. We know that we don't have that much time. When you talk about TAARUF, we are crammed with many programs, information, right? So we need to keep it short. We need to keep it precise. Okay, we need to keep it clear, right? So number one is about helping out. Okay, number two is about discovering it. Number three, brothers and sisters, I'm suggesting that we talk about seizing the opportunity, meaning to say that our students, they need to know that the fact that they are in the International Islamic University, whereby we have many nationalities, okay, many nationalities, and if they don't seize these opportunities while they are studying at the university, they lose these opportunities and the opportunity of a lifetime. They might not be having another opportunity studying at the same place, whereby you can see that many nationalities studying together. So it is also good to sharpen. I mean, we must tell our students that it is a way also to discover your own self. When you try to discover others, to know the others, it is about knowing your own self. Okay, this is what we felt when we were studying abroad. Okay, we know about the locals and we want to learn more about them. Okay, so that is when actually we open up to new opportunities, new knowledge. Right? Knowing these people, and it is also a boost for your own characteristic as a character. I mean, it is about character building, knowing other people, speaking their language, knowing their culture, knowing their nation. So much information. So number three, we should be talking about seizing the opportunity. Number one is about helping out. That it is a reward, something which will be rewarded if you try to help out some other people to understand the fact that they are living in a foreign land, but this land is not so foreign. Okay, make it receptive, right? Make them feel welcome. Number one. Number two is about discovering the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us in different tribes, different nations, with different cultures, with different languages, is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to discover His greatness. At the end of the verse 13 of Surah Al-HUJURAT, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Okay? That the most righteous among you, I mean, the most honored among you is the most righteous among you, the most honored. That is actually the position of a man himself, not about his own race, not about that, he's coming from this rich nation, not about that this is coming from this advanced nation, or from the second, third world, what have you, right? But at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look at our position, our own self, how righteous we are, okay? So these are the three things. Number 4 is we need also to make our international students aware. I mean, the first 3 points I was talking about, how the locals should be reaching out, okay? We should be inculcating these understandings to them, right? So number 4 is about how we should approach our international students as well, okay? So we can see that, we don't have that, we need them to have an open mind, for them also to initiate how to approach locals in order for them to learn. Why so? Because with the same token of telling them the fact that this is an opportunity. Allahu Alam, you might not be coming back after you graduate from this university, from the country. When you are already back to your own country, it is not something which is easy for you to come back unless that you are on some business, official matters, what have you. Okay, so seize the opportunity. Why so? Because this region, right? We have 250 million Muslims. Okay, can you imagine the culture, the language, the norms? Okay, huge information that you will benefit if you learn about the culture of these people, right? So we must portray to them that the fact that they are here, right? They must also open up a little bit about the local culture, knowing them well, try to understand them better. Why so? Because this is also an opportunity. An opportunity presents itself to the students. I mean, they need to seize it, right? And the best place, the best time for them to seize this opportunity is when they are still studying. We know that some of the international student locals, they not that introvert in the sense that they like to know one another better. They would go and approach these foreign friends, okay, without, someone asking for it, right? Because it is their own nature to know one another. But some, I would say the majority, we need to actually push them, try to put into their heads the fact that, so these are the things, right? So these are the things, the opportunity, the fact that you are helping your foreign friends, the fact that you are discovering, it is a form of servitude, ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatness, of course, the greatness of God, and the fact that you are seizing the opportunity which might not come and present itself for the second time in the future, right? And that also is correct for the international students. So I hope that while focusing on these 3 keywords, we hope that we can make it clear to our student the importance of fostering this brotherhood, okay, among the students at our university. May Allah help us all, and may Allah ease your work in coming up with the content of the TAARUF week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.